Like, it take a real motherfucker to get sober.
Entrepreneurship is a mindset. It's not necessarily what you do. Because I promise you, if you're doing it for the right reasons, you will be okay.
What do we know about trauma scientifically? It changes the chemistry in the brain.
We can relate to one another, you know. That's why this camaraderie is so awesome, because we just get it and we don't judge.
You can't fight new battles with old tactics. Your thoughts become your words become your actions become your character becomes your destiny.
What do you want to be remembered by when you're gone? What's Grounded, fam? It's your boy Johnny Gio. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Grounded Phoenix podcast. As always, the purpose of this channel is to express vulnerability and expand awareness to addiction, trauma, and mental health. I got my boy Sober Fausto in the building. What's Grounded, homie?
Oh man, I'm just super grounded right now in this moment with you, man.
That's right, man. I've been looking forward to this episode, bro. Like I was saying earlier, we did like a cool little 5-minute interview at the event we were at with Valor Clothing Fitness, but you know, something happened and it just didn't come through the way I planned. But hey, that's a part of it. Sometimes we just gotta really let life say, hey, you know what, it's all right. You can't control that anymore, and that's something that I struggle with lately.
Just like that. You see
that?
Yeah.
Bro, my dog is such a good boy, bro, and he barks only when he feels like there's a threat. So maybe I should probably pull out my Glock right now to see if there's someone outside.
Better go check. There might be a dope dealer out there.
Bro, I hope maybe it's a hope dealer.
Right.
But yeah, chill, boy. He's good. But like I was saying, dude, I have issues sometimes with like just being so controlling of things that I can't really control. Do you have any experience with that, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I think control is a huge thing, right? Because like it shows up different. Maybe you can relate. Like for me, control could come off as me being kind to people. You know, I want everyone to like me. So if I'm being nice to everybody and motivating and positive and empowering people, the underlying intention really is like, I want a reaction. Maybe I want to, if it's a cute girl, right? It's like, I want her to like me because she's cute. I want my sponsees to look up to me like this father figure, you know, like this guru, or I want my sponsor to be proud of me. And so the control could come off different, you know? So I struggle with that in being the kind way. And when things do go like wrong, right? Like I don't plan for this to happen. It's like, it's that worry because I'm so used to things going wrong. It's like that whole, I have good intentions as a kid, but bad things still happened. It's traumatic. So in recovery, it's like, man, I'm just like, I pass out on the phone and the person gets mad. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. And I feel so bad because this person's hurt. And for me, it could be a little easy thing to let go, but internally, that shit breaks me down and I'll spiral. And so control for me is a way for me to protect myself. And what helps me is being aware of that, talking about it with the people, like just opening up like, hey, I got control issues. I might be too kind because I think you're going to abandon me. Just know if I do anything that hurts your feelings, like please communicate with me that we're good. Because if you don't say we're good and you just kind of like hang up or you kind of just, I need space and you don't say nothing, I am going to want to run away because I'm going to overthink the situation because it's traumatic for me. So being able to be transparent with it is what helps because it doesn't go away.
Right on, dude. Very well said, man. And you know, a lot of times we look at control as like, you know, in a negative way, and like even it could be a positive way in the sense of like being kind to people. You're being controlling, right? Because what are the true intentions to your kindness? You know what I'm saying? So very well said. So Fausto, man, you know, as you know, this is kind of like a recovery podcast / trauma podcast and vulnerability podcast. So a lot of things I want to talk about with you have to do, you know, with addiction, but more so with trauma because from what we talked in the past, you know, we didn't really get a chance to speak a lot, but for what I know of you is that, you know, you've went through a lot of trauma as a child, and I resonate a lot with the things you have been through, and I think this is a great opportunity for me to speak up on certain things that I haven't on this episode in the past, and when in regards to my own childhood trauma and how I still deal with it till this day. You know, like you can. It's a healing process. You don't just heal and boom like that. You're good. You know, it's like this thing that I have to practice on an everyday basis and retrain my mind constantly, because so quickly it can go south depending on what I'm consuming, depending on who I'm kicking it with, and depending on where my vibration is as a human being. So without a further ado, bro, can you just, talk a little bit, or break down how your past was in the sense of the addiction aspect?
Yeah, I mean, so I was addicted for 11 years to cocaine and alcohol mainly, but I dabbled in, meth, pills, hallucinogens, but my main thing was alcohol and coke. Like, that goes hand in hand. And
Same.
Yes, you get it, right? It's socially acceptable in a sense, right? Coke's kind of like the cool drug, like you drink, you're not going to be at a bar and be like, hey, dude, you want some meth? They'll be like, what? But Coke, it's like, hey, do Coke? The girls are like, yeah, me, I do it.
Yeah,
the guys are like, I fuck with you, right? Like, yeah, and now you're friends with everybody. So it was kind of just this way of fitting in, being liked. Again, control. It was a way to control my environment. And that's why I became a bartender and a DJ. It's like I'm in this realm where I can be this person, because you spend most of your time at work. When you think about it, if you're working, 40 hours a week, and then when you go out, it's just like my whole life's around it. And a lot of it was started because of the traumatic, experiences, which I'm always open with, and right? It's like being sexually abused at 7 years old by an older boy, because I felt like I was accepted. I felt like I was seen. I felt like I was heard. I felt like I was a part of something, which ignited this thing to like be sexually curious now, because a 7-year-old shouldn't have to experience that. And it's like the trauma's not what happened. It's living with what happened day by day, trying to figure out, okay, how do I create a mindset based on this now? Because this is my reality. And so I got curious, right? Now I'm being sexually curious with a boy that's the neighbor when I was like 8 years old, and he was like 7 years old. And then it happened like that with like a family member, a cousin too. And it's just like all this fear, shame, and guilt built on this, because in a sense, I enjoy it. There's physical arousal, like I'm seeking it. And so living in this shame, the alcohol and the drugs help me suppress it. Okay, I don't got to look at it. I don't got to feel these things. I am a man, okay, like it was fixing me. And then when I would get a girlfriend, which I started dating in 7th grade, that's when I started going on, dating people. And that helped me go, okay, I'm not gay. And I have nothing against gay people, but as a kid, when that happened to me, my first sexual experience from a man, it's like, it fucks with your sexuality. And,
Right.
back then it wasn't so acceptable to be gay, you know what I mean? Now it's all open, it's cool, it's like, that's awesome. But back then, so there's more fear, shame, and guilt. And you know how guys can be. Oh, dude, you fucking faggot. So it's just like, oh, shit, do they know what happened? Did someone say something? And so, you get it, right? So,
Yeah.
girlfriends kept me kind of like, okay, I'm good. I'm fixed. Like, I got a girl. They like me. But every time that would end, I would try to fix it with working out, lying, getting tattoos. None of these tattoos I would have. I only got them because I thought it was going to fix me. Pierce my tongue, pierce my ears. My cousin was a gangster. I want to be a gangster. Then I wanted to be a hippie. Then I want to be a professional skateboarder, professional bodybuilder, professional DJ, professional videographer, all these things. And none of it was fixing me. And the fucked up part is when I got introduced to meth in 9th grade, now I'm getting molested by a 58-year-old man, And again, I went back. I would go at 6 a.m. and knock on that door knowing what's going to happen. Because, again, remember, 14 years old on meth, I have no idea what's going on. But it happened to me in my past, so this is just normal for me. This is what I seek. And I'm not going to say anything, and it's always my fault, I felt. So that happened for like 6 months, and he's trying to bring in his friends and stuff from prison. So it was just a mess. And all that is what really fed into that addiction. And that's why for the longest time I couldn't get sober.
Wow, right. Dude, thank you so much for sharing that with me, man. A lot to unpack right there, dude. One thing I want to say, though, is do you think that if you did not experience any of these traumatic experiences as a child, do you think that you would not be reliant or addicted to cocaine and drinking? Do you think you'll be a normie?
I don't think I would. I mean, that's a tough question, right, to really answer. Like, I had so many other insecurities under that too, right? Like, I had those insecurities, but that I felt like started that mindset of fear a lot too. But I didn't have my dad around either. You know, he was abusive, so not having that. There's so many factors, right? My mom was an excess worrier. She got cancer. So there's so many factors that could be into play with it. I think this is its own demon.
Right.
You know, I think a lot of the issues that I have in my recovery, I wouldn't have had that I have because of the trauma. Because that, to me, is you have the addiction, the 12 steps or refuge recovery, celebrate, whatever you do. But the sexual abuse and all that, that's a whole nother, devil. It's like, till this day, it fucks me up. Just to be real, like, it fucks me. There's days where I don't want to live because of what it did to me. I mean, a perfect example is 3 days ago, or on Thursday, the day before the event, I was setting up stuff the night before, and one of my friends' kids is a third grader, and no one knows about this. I've only told one person. It just happened. And you could tell this like little third grade girl has a crush on me. She's like, Fausto, trying to follow me. And I'm like, hey, cool. I felt so disgusted inside because of what happened to me and where my mind goes that I don't want to be around kids. Like when they're touching me, it's like I don't like it because of what starts happening in my head from the abuse. And it's just like, is this shit never going to go away? Like if someone knew what I was thinking, they would be disgusted. But this is something that happens because of the abuse. And it's just like, I've done therapy, I've done so much stuff, and there it is again, and I think that's the biggest reason why I don't want kids. I don't want to feel that.
Right on, dude, man. And the reason why I asked that question is because I'm similar to you, man. I was sexually assaulted as a 7-year-old or 8 years old, I think it was. And this person was my neighbor. He was an older kid, like 18, 17 years old. And I had no idea what I was doing, right? But I would go back. Sure as hell, I would go back because I was aroused, because I liked it. Right. And prior to this, I had another sexual experience, but it was with a woman, and she was like a second cousin. So at such an early age, I was like sexually active, and as I got older, I was confused, right? And like you said, being gay wasn't accepted back then, and now it's like, everybody, if you can be gay, bi, whatever, like it's so acceptable. And like, and it's not to say like I have anything against gay people as well, but like I thought to myself, like, dude, are you gay? Are you bi? Like, do you see yourself? Like I picture this. I'm like, do you see yourself holding a guy's hand, walking, and like and just being like affectionate with them, like you are with women? And the answer is no, man. The answer is I don't see that. But sometimes my mind fucking relives shit and bullies me, and is like faggot, queer, and it's like I can't control that. Like
right.
And I've tried it. I've tried experimenting with a guy willingly.
I love
and
that.
it just it wouldn't go down, bro. It couldn't happen, right? But I tried, but these thoughts still happen, and it's because of the shit that I've experienced, and it's so hard to like. Yeah, I've journaled, bro. I've went. This person that assaulted me as a child, bro. I was in high school by this time. He was probably like close to his 30s, and we were at the same party, and he was like drunk off his ass, bro, and he was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? What are you sorry for? And of course I was in denial. And he just kept saying, I'm sorry. And I left it at that. I didn't acknowledge why or think about why he was sorry. And one moment, bro, when I got into my journaling, when I got into my writing and really digging deep into shit, I was like, holy fuck. This guy assaulted me as a child sexually. I mean, it dawned on me what the fuck happened. And in this moment, dude, I was already kind of like spiritually fit to just be like, oh my God, this fool apologized to me and I completely ignored it. What if he is dying inside because he really wanted to make amends to me or just say, hey, I know what I did was wrong. Bro, I went to this person's house that same day. They still live there. Opened the door, looked like he's seen a ghost. All I said was, I accept your apology. He knew what was up. He was so shook, man. So shook. And he said, just nodded his head. All right. And I left. That was the most incredible feeling of acceptance that I have ever felt. And it gave me a sense of strength to realize how important it is to have done that. Because at that moment, I was no longer denying what had happened. But at the same time, from that point on, that's when I started having louder thoughts, because I wasn't doing drugs anymore. I wasn't drinking. I started having louder thoughts of like the bullying. So where I want to go with this now is, how do you deal with it now on a day-to-day basis? Or what have you learned from like therapy sessions or whatever you do to try to heal from this or cope with this? Or what are some things that you may tell somebody that may be going through these things that, you know, it's a process. It may not ever go away, but it's just taking it like on a day-by-day type of deal.
Yeah, I think in my experience has been having to embrace it. You got to embrace it. You know what I mean? Finding people who have been through it, and I would embrace the pain. Right when I shared it the first time and somebody was like, me too. Wow, changed my life. And then getting people to help that have been through it, you know, walking them through it, just talking about it, and where they can talk about it, open up and not feel judged and just feel accepted. That would help. But the reality is, what I've learned is, I mean, it's been 4 years in my recovery now, and I had that moment last week, and it was just so intense, and it was just like, I know for me, it's having people to talk to when it comes up, joking about it. Like, I have my friends that have been abused too, and like, we'll joke. I'll tell them like, hey, we'll be driving in the car, and I'm like, you guys all down to make out? And they're like, what? You know? I'm like, guys, I'm just saying, that should cross my head. Don't say it and cross your head. I'm like, don't you bullshit me. And they start laughing, you know, like just laughing it out, you know, just laughing. I'm like, see guys, this is why we don't fucking do drugs anymore, because I'll tell you what, I smoke some meth, I'm fucking all of you guys, you know, and just laughing about it. Being able to laugh about it, because I think laughing at it takes away that power. But another thing too with it is, I mean, there's times I feel like I'm going to take my life from it, because I just feel like, I think for me, I like to look at research. Okay, how does my life look now to prove to me that I am going to get through this? I have the sobriety to beat the addiction. Got it. I got a career. Got it. I built a business. Got it. You know, I've been able to buy my own car, pay my bills now, travel. You know, all these things I've done, but the one thing I haven't done for my research is being in a successful relationship. Because I was in a relationship for 2 years in my recovery. She wasn't, you know, she wasn't a party person, all that stuff. And we got our own place together. We're traveling together. And it ended the same way. I got cheated on. You know what I mean? It ended the same way they all ended in my addiction, because I would always say they cheated on me because of what happened to me. I'm not a man. I'm not man enough. I can't fit this mold, because my childhood and my innocence was taken away from me. Like, it was taken. And, you know, being a man, it's like trying to be this masculine man. We can see this is what these women want. The guy with more tattoos, the guy that's tall, the guy that makes a lot of money, the guy that's strong, the dominant one, the provider, the alpha, whatever it is, you know. And it's like, I've always failed. So when it failed in my sobriety, and it happened the same way, it fucked me up. I said, fuck. Like, yeah, I'm sober, but there's this shit still haunting me till this day. And I didn't realize until recently that I was in a very mentally and emotionally abusive relationship for 2 years, and that I didn't know that, though, because it wasn't drinking, there was no fighting, there was nothing bad. But I was with somebody, again, I learned, that was emotionally detached. But I didn't realize that it was something bad, because to me, that was what I liked. But that's what I'm used to.
Right.
And so the fact that I haven't had that successful one, that's the thing that scares me the most in my life. That and I will be honest, there is days I'm just like, dude, I would rather fucking be dead. Who cares about hope dealers and motivational speaking and life coaching? And everyone loves Fausto. He's so positive and he's changing lives. It's like, yeah, but there's this wound inside of me that still hasn't been proven that it's gonna go away. So that's been a tough one for me.
Bro, thank you for sharing that, man. And I go through similar things, man. You know, like you were saying earlier, man, we could be tatted up. You could be quote unquote good looking and get women and you know, say that you're helping people, you're doing this and that. And on the outside, you know, it looks good, but internally we're not doing all right, you know, or not all the time at least. I can speak for myself that I know a lot of these tattoos I probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for me wanting to be that big badass dude. Or wanting to be somebody that people like either feared or looked up to or thought of as cool, because just plain on me wasn't cutting it, you know? So one thing that I've got out of your share right now about like the relationship, bro, is, you know, what defines success? You know, you talk about like, I haven't had that successful relationship. Like, what defines success? Because, you know, 2 years is a good amount of time, and I think it's very successful if you found out that this person wasn't emotionally available. So that's a success to me, because you realized, hey, it wasn't necessarily me. Of course, you know, it takes two to tango, but at the same time, we can't just put it all on ourselves. And I think that's one thing you and I, you know, struggle with. And a lot of people do. Maybe anybody that's listening right now, you know, we put a lot on ourselves. I know I'm a big people pleaser, but I think that finding the silver lining or finding the dubs in any fucked up situation, in this case was like, you know, the relationship wasn't a success according to you. You know, I beg to differ, bro, because you found out that this person was emotionally unavailable. You found out that maybe what you do need is someone that is emotionally available. And, you know, the fact that, you know, sometimes you feel like you want to take your life away, it just goes to show that, hey, we're not perfect, and this is an ongoing process. And just to continue doing what you're doing, bro. Like I can't say that I feel that way. It's been a while since I felt like that. But I really do believe that just by you sharing that right now, again, like how you were sharing earlier about, like, you know, being open about the sexual assault, being open about this right now, you know, wanting to take your life away is big, because if you keep it in here, you know, the odds are that, you know, one day it might happen. So,
Right.
you know, I really do think that if you just kind of the way you view the success aspect, you know, because at the end of the day, the way I look at it is, you know, we all die alone. You know, we're not really gonna die with like the way the couple died in the movie The Notebook.
Oh yeah.
You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes I feel like, you know, we're just so conditioned to think like there has to be like this Disneyland fairy tale ending when it comes to relationships. And sometimes that eats at us, you know, more so than other people. And one thing that has helped me, I used to be a huge alfalfa, bro. I was that kid. I was that guy. And I still have him deep down inside.
Yeah.
But the tattoos don't make you an alpha. The you know, successful, like, economically doesn't necessarily make you an alpha, bro. It's the way you handle situations, the way you treat people, how you take lead. And I see a leader in you, bro. I could tell by the way you carry yourself. I can tell by the way you speak of other people, even your vulnerability, because believe it or not, expressing vulnerability is a fucking alpha move. You know, not a lot of people have the balls to say what you say and do what you do. So I really do appreciate you for all this, bro. I do want to say the next topic I want to talk about, dude, is, you know, there's so many. But the one I want to talk about right now, I think that would go good with this is, you know, finding a male role model or somebody that can help guide you, or like a mentor to help mold your goal the direction that you want to go, for men specifically, because I know for me that was something that helped. I know there's plenty of authors, plenty of books. Some people may look at it like that's not a mentor, but I think that anybody that's putting information out there is a mentor. It could be a YouTube channel. It could be a book that someone wrote. If you're using and applying what what their experiences and what they wrote, I think that's a form of mentorship.
Yeah, I think, and I totally agree with you on the book aspect. I think your books become who you are. You really think about it, right? The whole concept of the 5 people you surround yourself with is what you become mentally, spiritually, financially, and emotionally. Same thing with books. So the importance of it, I find, is especially if you're trying to get sober, you're going to need somebody that knows how to be sober and live that life, right? If you want to be successful in a sense of business, finances, relationships, and success as just knowing how to, be a good boyfriend, good husband, wife, business, how to start a business, you need somebody who's been there. Because why would you try to figure it out yourself when you can find somebody who's already done it? They already know what doesn't work. And then they can guide you into getting to that place. And all of us have a purpose. We all have a purpose. Because, see, we're here for a reason. Whether that's true or not, it's up to people to decide. But I say I'm here for a reason. I believe everyone is. So there's a purpose. Okay. To find your purpose, you find it through the service of others. The service of others. So you need people in your life to point out the bigger picture because you're in it and you can't see it. These are the people who will reflect who you are and what you're good at and what you're not good at. So it's so important because there's so much to learn about life, right? We never know it all. Always remain teachable, especially if for people like us that we're starting our life so late. When you think about it, sometimes like we have not learned a lot of things. So we have a lack of emotional regulation and a lack of just life that could beat us up. That a lot of, regret, a lot of embarrassment, humiliation. So having that mentor in your life is so important because they will make you feel like, hey, everything's going to be okay. I've been there. Like, trust me, you're going to be good. Just hearing that each day and being guided, I think, is so important. Because if no one's leading you, where are you going?
Right on, dude. Yeah, very, very well said. How you talked about purpose, Brian, and for me, I think that's a big factor as to what fulfills me the most. Because I think for a long time I had no purpose. Like I didn't have kids. I think subconsciously, even though I wasn't in the right mindset, I was like, I need kids because if I don't have something to live for, I'm gonna end my life, or I'm gonna end somebody else's life and probably go to jail. And this woman I loved at the time, and of course my kids were planned, but that was the start of like, oh shit, like I have a sense of I wasn't the best at because I was still using it at the time, but now that really does fulfill me. And these podcasts give me a sense of purpose. In your opinion, how does one find purpose? Of course, someone that mentors you can lead you there, but like internally, how do you know this is my purpose? And I personally believe that if you find the thing that has fucked you up the most, that you are very emotionally connected to, and turn that into something that you can be of service and help others in one way, shape, or form, I think that will provide great fulfillment and great purpose. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't want to speak on certain topics, don't want to speak on certain things. And by you flipping it into something positive, into something good, you, like you said, you eliminate the power in it.
Yeah. And you said it right. Purpose is found in your pain. Like you said it perfect. I mean, it has to be. It has to be. And I think one thing that I've learned is everybody in this world wants to know what their purpose is at one point of their life. They're going to want to know, right? Why am I here? That question's going to happen because we are all going to die. No one's getting out of this world alive. We're going to die. It happens. That's one thing we can't avoid. Like, look, you're going to die. So what is the purpose of you even being alive if you're going to die, right? So we're all going to have that question. And I, for me, what I've seen with working with people is like, your purpose comes from your pain. Whatever you've been through, if you give that a reason, then it has a purpose. And if it has a purpose, then you have a purpose. And it's up to the person to decide if they want to look at it like that. And a lot of people won't look at it like that. Because it could sound crazy. Someone could say, so you're telling me I got raped for a purpose? Fuck yeah, you did. Because if you don't look at it that way, it's going to fucking break you down. That's what I try to, that's what I try to tell people and everything is like, I don't know if this is true. No, I don't. It doesn't really matter what's true or not at the end of the day. You decide what your truth is. If you believe that water will cure you from migraines, then that water is going to cure you from migraines. If you believe that you sit on a crystal rock that will cure you of migraines, it's going to cure you from migraines. It's just like whatever you believe, if you truly believe, not just saying I believe it. No, if you truly believe in this thing, you will receive it. So purpose is you got to believe that what you've been through has a purpose. And now you're walking with enlightenment. And you're only going to know that by having somebody tell you this is what it takes. Are you willing to believe it? Okay, I'm willing to try. Perfect. Share your story. Watch what happens. Help somebody else out that's been through it. Watch what happens. Now you have the research to back it up because now you're feeling fulfilled. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is my purpose. Now walk with it.
Big facts, bro. And in a world where we live in and all of it is take. Mm-hmm. To give, man, that's the best feeling ever. Because, in this world that we live in, we're always like, oh, I want this, I want that. But when you truly decide to give something to someone that's not materialistic, that's more internal, that's more deeper than that, man, I gotta say that I've never felt a greater fulfillment than anything I've ever received, whether it be, something like a watch or like a TV or even, working out, like the physical aspect, gaining some sort of muscle or like physical appearance, like internally. That is way more, dude. So thank you for sharing that, man. Definitely there's purpose in the pain for sure. And I think that's something that imagine if everybody that ever got sexually assaulted, imagine that everybody that was, a victim to domestic violence or some sort of, crazy shit happened to them, and they all spoke up and they all started their own organizations and they all started a mentorship program. Imagine all the healing that would go on. Mm-hmm. Do you think that may be what puts an end to all of this stuff, or at least provides even greater form of healing for people? Like, just imagine that, dude.
Yeah, I think if that was to happen, it would create just more resources for healing. But what I know, and it's a hard, sad truth, is life's just never going to be fair. It never will. And it's unfortunate, but people are going to continue to be assaulted, continue to be hurt, continue to be traumatized, and there's nothing we can do about it because people are fucking evil and life is evil. And you know that the more aware you become of things and you understand, right, the more enlightened you become, you just go like, dude, we live in a really dark world and there's really nothing you can do about it, but try to be the light to as many people as you can with the hopes that you're going to give some other people at least another chance at life. It's just like addiction, right? When people go, my kid's struggling, can you help him? Like, he's fucking up, this and that. And I just say, all you can do is pray. And they go, what do you mean? I go, I'm just being real with you. If he doesn't want it, I can't help him. And there's nothing you can do. You just have to pray that one day he's ready. And it's sad, but every time I meet someone, this is what I've learned. Every time I meet somebody, in my head, I say, it was nice knowing you. I already accept that you're going to die. Oof. Because I used to get so attached to people, that people pleaser, the fixer, and it was fucking me up. And I had to learn the hard truth. It's like, Fausto, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how powerful God is. It doesn't matter what you say or what you do. It was nice knowing you. Keep that in mind. It was nice knowing you. That's just the reality of life. And I've been mentored and learned a lot because we help so many people, like the hard truth about life, which has allowed me to stop trying to control that and make that a reality. It's just like, this might be the last day we're talking together. You just don't know, you just don't know. So just be present and be loving and accept that that's just life.
Big facts, man. And I don't think you're going to die tomorrow, but bro, it's really nice knowing you. I mean, I'm serious, dude. Like, this conversation is, is amazing, man. Like, having these type of conversations with people, that are just so genuine and so vulnerable. To me, it fulfills me, and it allows me to learn more about myself. You did talk about praying, and you talked about having faith in God, and what does that look like for you? Because I know I had a big problem and like resistance towards like getting on my knees and praying. I had to go through the means of crystal chakras. That's how I started, meditating, and I got into the amethyst, and I actually had a pretty cool experience where I was separated from my body spiritually. Like, I was like floating. I was like, oh shit, this is tight. and then that's when I was like, you know what? Spirituality is fucking real. Let me get on my knees and fucking talk to God. And that felt amazing. I don't meditate as much as I used to, but I damn sure do pray now. So I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, nah, man, God is not for me. What's your take on that?
Well, yeah, I think that's a very deep topic, right? It's like politics. One of those things you just there's no right, there's no win. You can't win. There's just, it goes on and on. And like I shared, religious trauma. Religious trauma is where people use God for power instead of love. So if I beat you up every single day of your childhood, physically beat you up, talk shit on you, and then one day they go, hey, we want you to, look up to Fausto. He's a good people. In your head, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? This guy beat me up and abused me. Just you don't know what you're talking about. Just, you have to, or if you don't do that, then you're not gonna be able to be happy. You're gonna be resistant to it. So that's what people use God for towards people. It's not God that's the bad thing. It's the people who used it. And so it's like, we have to know how to speak people's languages, right? I can't speak to you in French and expect you to know what I'm saying and be like, oh, this guy's never gonna find God. It's like, bro, you're talking to him in French. You got to speak to him in his language, which is always, hey, what's your story? Okay, what's your past look like? What do you believe in? And you kind of get an idea. Okay, universe, sweet. Buddha, awesome. Allah, Jesus, the universe, crystals, like shamans, like whatever it is, science. You find out what it is and you speak to people like that, because I believe we're all following something. Even if people don't want to admit it, it's like you're following some type of moral compass. And choose what that means to you and seek it. Try things, right? Try meditating. Try crystals. Try fasting. Try praying. Try gratitude lists. Try ice bath therapy, Try reading the Bible, reading the Bhagavad Gita. Just try whatever it is and see what works for you. Because a real person, I believe, that's spiritual, this is what I believe, understands exactly what people go through and should know how to speak to those people. Like, I will talk to people and I'll never bring up the word God. I just love on them. And then they're like, man, how are you so positive like this? Man, you're amazing. Like, you're so nice. And I say, well, I believe in God. It's not me. And then it kind of opens up the perception, because they see me. I got tattoos. I smoke a vape. I work out. I listen to hip-hop music, rap music, house music. I'm not perfect. I'm a good person, though. And I love people. And it's like, yeah, you don't have to like dress in a suit and never cuss and like can't listen to this music. It's like, no. So that, I think, is that example helps people, because, I mean, I'm going to stay with monks for a month next year in Nepal. I've done the Wim Hof. I fast for 30 days. I read all these different books of wisdom. I hung out with a shaman 2 weeks ago at a rave. I was at a rave and I was like, there's a shaman. And I'm like, okay. I'm like watching. She almost gave me mescaline. I was like, whoa. And then she's like, hey, this mescaline likes you. And I'm like, don't tell me that, because that sounds really like appealing. Yeah. But it's just like, I'm so interested because all these people are speaking that same language, like love, love, love. So I believe people just choose what you want to believe, because like I said, what you believe is what you're going to receive, and it's what you're going to achieve. So just choose what you want it to be, because if you don't have something to follow, that's a kind of sad life. And usually you don't know that until you go through something very difficult. And it's unfortunate people come with a lot of enabling cards, I would say, which takes away from them to try to lean on something, because they have mom and dad, they have money, people where you're like, okay, you always have this crutch But like, when you get to that dark place, you don't have nothing but this ability to, I guess I'm going to see what this is. And then once you experience it, you're like, oh, this shit's real. Wow.
Facts. Facts, bro. I do believe everybody does have a moral compass. And you know what they say, dude. You stand for something or you'll fall for anything.
I like that.
Right? That's not me, bro. I took it from a motivational speech. Just wanna just wanna throw that out there. I won't take credit for anybody.
Hey, it's the gift of borrowing. That's what I call it, right?
The gift of borrowing? Okay, just fucking plagiarize that shit real quick.
Hey, there's nothing new under the sun. Somebody got it from somebody, right?
Right? Okay, I'm gonna look at it like that. Just make sure you guys quote me on that, please. But hey, bro, is there any other subjects you'd want to just talk about or touch on before I let you go and ask you this the signature question?
I got a question for you. That's what I got.
Oh, let's get it. Let's do it. Yeah.
What is something for you that you struggle with right now in this season that really brings tears to your eyes and anger because it's just something that makes you feel empty inside?
Damn. I'm on my 4th step right now, bro, and I realized a lot of stuff, dude, that about my stepdad. Mm-hmm. He's like my real dad. I never met my biological father, but he passed away, and I never got the opportunity to really thank him or how great of a father he was. I found out he wasn't my dad the first day I took meth, and that day, like, I started having that victimized mindset. And I grew resentment towards him because I felt lied to. Even though he took me to my first WWE show, he took me to my first Laker game, he took me to all his soccer games, he took me to work. He treated me like his own kid, dude. And after that day, I grew cold towards him. And I treated him like shit. And as I got older, I pushed him away. And he loved me like his own, dude. He has a lot of kids. But I truly felt the love from him. And I think at this point, what really does hurt me is that I never got the opportunity to thank him and show him how much I love him. But I'm doing that now when I get on my knees and I pray. I make sure that I talk to him. One thing that I know that I need to do is to go visit him at his grave. And also, dude, I think I'm running away from this as well. I think I need to go find my biological father. I mean, I don't think that it's a necessity, but I think that somewhere deep down inside, I want to know who he is. And, maybe I can provide some sort of feeling for him where he's like, I don't know if he knows that I'm out here or not, but, maybe something in him is like, I don't feel right. And maybe I can help him with that. So that's something that's been eating away at me. And I think I really have to, man up on that. And that's a good question, bro.
That's some deep stuff, though, for real. I mean, that is a big thing when people are like die and like you have this guilt, and how do you go about that, And I think you're doing the right things to get to that with inventory and going to visit the gravesite, because there's those things are healing. Praying, you're doing the things to be able to forgive yourself in order to move forward. Because I guarantee what's going to happen is you're going to hear his voice and you're going to see him. I don't know how or when, but I feel like that's going to be a moment where you're going to see, and you're going to feel that forgiveness enter your heart because he's right there and he's listening.
Bro, I literally have goosebumps right now with you saying that shit. That's him touching me right now. Dude, that's crazy, dude. Thank you for that, man. Dude, I really appreciate your time, man. That was deep. Yeah. Before I let you go, man, let me get out of this. Right? Let me get out of this real quick.
Stay in it.
That was deep, bro. Before I let you go, I gotta ask you the signature question, which is, I believe there's 3 things in life that are guaranteed, and they're actually marked in our gravestone, and that is our birthday, the day we pass, and that dash in the middle that we often overlook. What is Fausto going to be remembered by when he's gone?
That's a great question. Fausto's going to be remembered for having the ability to create a space for people to feel safe, to just be themselves. I think that's the biggest thing I've been learning in life is I have the ability to just talk with people and just let them be themselves without me even knowing I'm doing that, you know? And I've learned that what that's doing is now from a scientific standpoint, which I didn't know, is I'm allowing people to heal from their traumas by me just being me. Because you can't heal through it through reading about it, through listening of how to heal. You need to be able to be around somebody to role model to you what a healthy relationship looks like, so that inner child can feel safe to come out, and then that's when people heal. And so I think it's also be known for that person that just created that space for me to be me.